Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is James, and I am the Game Master for today's game of RuneQuest, role-playing in Glorantha. This is the first episode of the second season of our beginner-focused game of RuneQuest. This is a series where we try to introduce all of the awesome lore and mechanics of RuneQuest and Glorantha at large in a way that's really easy to digest and that you can jump into yourselves. We base most of what we're doing off the content in the RuneQuest starter set, which you can see just over there behind my shoulder. I am joined, as I was the previous season, by the two fantastic cast members who will be playing through the adventure, and I'm going to throw to them to introduce themselves in just a second. But first of all, I would like to say a brief thank you to Sirenscape, which is an amazing tool that we use to improve our games. I'm going to start off by throwing to Dave, and I'm going to get you, Dave, to tell us who you are and give us a little bit of a reminder about who you're playing. Tell us what they look like. Tell us what they're about. Give us a sense of the character.
I do love Tell Us, because that is also my name. So Tell Us is about Tell Us. Tell us about Tell Us. There we go. Found the pun I was angling for. Yeah, my name is Dave, and I work with Chaosium. I'm also the keeper for our ongoing Call of Cthulhu campaign, where we are playing through the Two-Headed Serpent. So if you're a fan of horror and pulp nonsense, you can join us each Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, there we go, time zones are important. But for this campaign, I am playing Telos, and he is a young hunter from a village in the woods. He is a somewhat rough-looking young man with a self-done haircut that looks like a bowl cut done with kitchen scissors. And he's dressed in sort of colors of the forest, a lot of mottled greens and browns, very uncivilized in his appearance. The one item of note that he carries is a beautiful sort of white bone looking hunting bow, which he keeps close at hand at all times. This is not only the tool of his trade, but also the sole item he owns from his father, who he has never met.
Excellent. Thank you very much. You mentioned rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Can I get you to say just a little bit more? Can you tell us about some of Telos's runes, the sort of defining ones?
Sure. Yeah, so Telos is principally a beast rune, which matches the description so far, so hit that note. So that is his is less tied to man, he is more tied to nature and the forests. And his second highest rune actually is higher than his beast rune. That's because I improved it last time we played. Is his truth rune, which is he is not one for niceties for the sake of niceties, if that makes sense. He will say what he sees to be the fact. He does not understand why we are continuing to debate. The truth is not up for discussion. This is what is happening. This is what we need to do. Why are we still talking about it? Let's go. Yeah.
And played exceptionally well in the delicate tribal politics that we got up to, last time.
Exactly.
Anyway, jumping across, I'm going to throw over to Bridget. Could you please tell us about yourself and introduce your character?
Yeah, hello. My name is Bridget Jeffries. I am a community ambassador for Chaosium. So long story short, if you're looking to write for Call of Cthulhu, RuneQuest, or 7th Sea, feel free to holler at your girl. You can email me at Bridget, that's a bridge that you walk across with 2 T's, at chaosium.com. And I can get you plugged in with resources and tools, workshops, classes. Guys, the Storytelling Collective, Write Your First Adventure class starts, well, for Australia, it started today, but here it's going to start tomorrow on November 1st. I believe this class is $39 US, but guys, it is a fast track, self-instructed course where in 30 days you can start from I have a cool idea to actually being completely published on the Miskatonic Repository or the Johnstown Compendium. And that class starts tomorrow, or today, depending on where you are. Pray about it. It'll be fine. But if you have questions or concerns about that class or how to write for one of these awesome programs, feel free to just drop me an email. I am playing Iratia, who is the daughter of Hildada's stone sister and Onalda priestess. She is a warrior. At the time that the game started, she was 17. She's probably had a birthday somewhere in there that's bumped her over to 18, possibly. This is a very mercurial, turbulent personality, just really a force of personality because she does such an excellent job of mismanaging all of her emotions, especially anger. She's great at mismanaging that one. She has a few things that are trailing behind her as far as guilt and regret and shame, where she didn't keep a proper lid or control on her anger and potentially hurt people around her. This is a very tall, very lean, very muscular woman at this point. She kind of has like the swimmer shoulders that are very, very broad. You can see the creases and the ripples in her muscles. She's constantly carrying a broadsword now, which just by the way that she moves it, by the way she carries it, you know that she's proficient with it. Dark skin from being constantly exposed to the sun. And then she has both sides of her head shaved still at this point, where she just has a long braid going down the back. She is known as being that angry teen. Things have probably changed in this last season, given what everything that we grappled with. So she's evolving like characters and people do.
Absolutely fantastic. Thanks so much. I love that description. I'm going to throw the same question at you that I threw at Dave. Tell us about the runes. Runes, of course, being the defining aspects in RuneQuest. Tell you about your personality and the access to magic that you have.
Yeah, so her highest rune that she leans on the most, I'm going to believe, is the movement rune, which is great because that plays into that mercurial, unpredictable, unstable nature that she has. But that is complemented by a very high harmony rune. At the end of the day, she is about her people. She is about her family. And despite the fact that she and her brother get on each other's nerves on a regular day basis, she died for him. She died for this clan. She died for a village. That harmony rune is like her foundation, and that movement rune is the thing that kind of defines her personality.
Fantastic. So we have our characters, and we're about to see them jump onto a brand new adventure. We'll leap into that in just a second, but first of all, I want to provide a little bit of context for people who need a refresher on what happened last season, or who might be just joining us now. So in the last adventure, our two heroes, Telos and Aracha, who are members of the Varmandi clan, were caught up in a long rivalry with a rival clan across the way who lives on their old ancestral lands called the Orlevin clan. And the Orlevin clan had stolen something very important from the Varmandi, and our two heroes basically had to go and get it back. They competed in a series of sacred competitions to prove themselves worthy of retrieving the stolen artifact, which was a segment of a statue of the goddess Ernalda. Emerging victorious, they returned not with just their own piece of statue, but also with an extra trophy, another sliver of the same statue that proved their dedication to the god. Everything seemed okay, and for a little while it looked like maybe tensions between the two clans might even fade away after some particularly excellent diplomacy from both Telos and Aracha, but then everything went suddenly and dramatically wrong. The Undead appeared inside Oakton, the Varmandi village, and everything was thrown into chaos. Telos and Aracha were forced to fight off the Undead and then track them back to the Orlevin clan village, where it was discovered that they were emerging from a tomb deep below the ground. Telos and Aracha went into the tomb, managed to save some Orlevin clan adventurers that had gone down in there to try and stop the problem, and eventually did battle and stopped a revenant of a great champion. So there is something horrific at work that is empowering the Undead, and the Undead are not a topic that are very well understood. So we're going to jump back into our story as Telos and Aracha are now venturing out of their village for the first time, at least venturing out further than the woodlands around it and the immediate clan holdings, to try and get critical information to understand the threat that is posed to them and to all of the land that surrounds, and to stop it. Did I get everything right? Did I forget a key detail, either of you?
Could have emphasized how much we crushed it a little more, but our victory was noted.
Well, that's actually a good point.
Thing.
What about to give a little bit more flavor of that last moment? Could both of you pick up an instance in the last season where you felt that your character really shone, jumped in and did something that was iconically them, that was the best moment of the adventure so far for them?
Probably there was the challenge where we faked him out by like hiding the rune in plain sight, and it all came together. That was quite fun, because it could have very easily gone super badly. I think that was cool. And it showed Telos's cunning, which is actually his defining characteristic.
Yes, and a very interesting use of the truth rune to hide something by being completely honest about where you put it, but no one believes that for a second.
That was so clever, by the way, Dave. Oh my God, that was so good.
Bridget, what about yourself?
Could I opt for a bad moment to compliment the good one?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, that sounds great.
I think something that really sticks out to both Bridget and Iratia is what is that sweet girl's name? I have my notes from last season and I can't find it.
That little girl's name was Quail, the daughter of Malene.
That was it.
Quail. She and kind of like one of our existing elders showed up into town to kind of like check in on us to make sure we were okay. And versus being like hospitable or like concerned or even showing some gratitude that they made this trip, Iratia was completely irate that they had left the town, that they had traveled, that this child was on the road, and she blew up on them just from like a argumentative standpoint, like some really below the belt comments were made. And then she shot off lightning, just narrowly missing both of them. And that's something she is probably still haunting herself to sleep with every single night that she goes down.
Absolutely. Quayor and Lurgan, the elder who is the guardian of the Oak of Vengeance inside the center of the village of Oakton, they came along and you blasted lightning at them, which is not the most respectful way to treat your elders, but
no.
Bygones may be bygones. So let's jump into the adventure and explain where the two of you are right now. You are traveling towards a part of Glorantha called the Upland Marsh, or at least you were pretty close to there. The dead in Glorantha are very, very mysterious and not that well understood. Chaos is the terrifying other force in Glorantha. Everyone knows what chaos is, and everybody hates it. There are even entire cults like the Oroxi who are devoted to destroying it in whatever form it arises. But death and the undead kind of fit within a gray area. They are sometimes used by chaos. They are also very often mindless monsters, but there are uses of the undead, and there are ways that the undead sort of come forward and present themselves that are not necessarily explicitly evil. It's also really quite a gray area, and people will argue about what the exact technical definition of the undead is, whether it's about souls or whether it's about literally the fact that they've returned, because of course many great heroes return from the underworld. They are the subject of hero quests or things like that, but it's a gray area, and it's not one that people like looking into because it raises too many difficult questions. Fortunately, there are experts, and those experts tend to live around the outsides of the Upland Marsh because it is the haven of all things undead. Long ago, it is said, a great wizard or warlock or necromancer cursed the Upland Marsh with death, and the entire place is now this reeking, horrid swamp that is filled with corpses. Fortunately, they don't tend to stray outside there, so it's pretty isolated. But the villages along the outskirts of the Upland Marsh are filled with people who understand the undead very deeply because they have them as neighbors. In particular, the two of you have been sent to the village of Swordvale, which is the home of the Good Sword clan. You are going to head there to seek out one of the important Humakdi elders. Humak, the god of death, is one of the cults that understands the undead implicitly, and by going to find one of his great representatives, who is a Humakdi sword lord named Kefet Dirklael, you will be able to ask all of the questions you need. You'll be able to find out why the undead runes appeared in your village. You will be able to find out what you need to do to stop them. You will be able to sort out this whole problem. So the two of you right now have forged out of your village, and you have traveled west along the rivers and further away than you have ever been before from your homes. How are the two of you taking the travel? Is it something that you enjoy? Is it bittersweet? Tell us. I mean, you're a man of the wilds. You might love this.
This rules. How far out? How many days travel are we west?
Well, when we pick up our story, you are going to be probably about almost 2 weeks travel.
Yeah, so it's quite a ways away.
Yeah, you headed down the rivers first, and these are rivers that are linked to other villages that are associated with your tribe and clan. But then you broke south and you started skirting the outside of the upland marsh, and you're really going across a very wild area now.
Yeah, no, this rules. Tellus spent a year in the woods as part of his initiation into the cult of Yinkin, but it was all very like in the woods around our own village. So this is the first time he's really gone beyond that, and he has a lot of natural skill in the area and expertise granted by his god, but that doesn't have a ton of experience with it. So I think it's, you know, taking in a lot of this new information and trying to file it and categorize it and figure out what to do with it. And he's not the most sociable of people at the best of times, so I think it's a lot of like, he's very focused on the journey and understanding it and sort of, you know, moving as efficiently as possible, more so than necessarily, you know, socializing or, you know, being super personable with his.
That's totally
with his
reasonable.
half-sister.
It is interesting though that, you know, you're so reserved in cities. Even when you're out in the wilds having a fantastic time, it doesn't necessarily mean that you immediately become gregarious.
Probably even less so. You're beginning to realize that city Telos is the fun guy. He's the really social one. He thinks that's like him being really outgoing and charismatic, and now he's like, whew, glad I can shed that skin and go back to the real me and not talk for 3 days.
Yeah, you can finally relax just a little bit. Okay, that's fantastic. What about yourself, Aratia?
I think Iratia is 50% back in the village and 50% full steam ahead. If they knew this trip was coming, we're the adults at home right now. So she doesn't want to think of her home being defenseless. But they are. So it would have been crazy amounts of preparation for, if this rune pops up, do this. Make sure that these, you know, institutions are in place. Make sure the emergency contact is here. If something happens, everyone goes to this location. So she would have been using that harmony to just make sure everything was okay. So as she's embarking on this journey, a lot of the time she's actually either walking backwards or she's looking over her shoulders because she keeps thinking, did I forget something? You know that feeling when you leave the house and you're like, did I leave the oven on?
Yeah.
The whole house getting ready to burn down.
Did I leave the zombie in the town square? You know,
did I leave a zombie? Like, did we chain that guy down? Did we burn him? Did we burn him enough? So she's half there. But that movement rune is just something that's embedded into her soul, it's embedded into her magic, it's embedded into her being. So I think there's another part of her that's very excited to move forward, because the more that she knows, the more the village knows. And the more that she can learn, the better the village will be. So she's on this weird straddle of, I should be at home, but this is by far the best thing for our tribe and our clan.
Okay, fantastic. That's great. So we're going to flash back a little bit over the course of this session, and we're going to talk about what happened in the village previously and get a little bit of information. But first of all, I want to introduce the problem to you and show you exactly what's happening. The problem, you knew one was coming. So as you have been getting closer and closer towards where you know Swordvale to be, the weather has been getting a little harsher. You are currently in the storm season, which is kind of this, exactly what it sounds like. It's a wild period. It's filled with rain, that kind of comes in a storm, but it's also bright, it's long days. This is typically used as the time when clans will raid each other. Because they, they can travel easily. The dark season is over, so you're not huddled inside during winter, but you are also not so early in the year that you need to really be worrying about the harvest and stuff like that. So this is prime adventuring moments, but even still, you would expect an element of like pleasantness. It's closest to summer of all of the various times, it's or spring maybe as you go traveling through. You have just crested around this large set of ridged hills. The region between Swordvale and the upland marsh is very, very difficult to navigate. So it's not exactly easy to go wandering through. And it has an important kind of logistical element in that how it is placed compared to Tash, which is where all of the Lunas are coming from. So the war between the Lunas generally takes place in the north, and the northwest. And all of the area that you're going to is along the west. So it's closer to Tarsh, but because it's so harsh and difficult to navigate, nobody is really there. So you find yourselves getting up these ridge lines and like looking into the distance and wondering if you can see far, far away, banners or encampments. Tarsh is just over there. You traveled as far as you already had and you would have reached it, but you have more important things. But then everything that you think you know is suddenly thrown into disarray. You crest one of these large hills, you look straight ahead, and you can see an enormous expanse of swampland blocking your path. It is putrid, festering. You can see like fog hovering over the whole area, and it should not be here. You should be still several miles away from the upland marsh. Either you have gotten completely turned around, or all of the maps that you're aware of are wrong, or there's something strange happening. So I throw it to the two of you immediately as you're standing at the top of this ridge line, leading probably 2 pack horses behind you, thinking, what are your immediate actions? You can see this swamp in front of you.
So is this swamp like you can't see the other side of it? Like it appears to just be swamp time?
Yeah, as suddenly you hit swamp, and you shouldn't have hit swamp. There's no clear way to skirt it. I mean, you can start traveling along the outsides, but it does have that kind of liminal fade in. So you're not exactly sure where you're going.
Yeah. Well, tell us this first. He probably hasn't spoken for the last 2 days. The first words he'll say will be, that swamp shouldn't be there. It's too early.
Did you guide us off course?
No. Or I don't think so, at least. If I did, then the person we spoke to a few days ago was wrong as well. This is too early. All the same, we need to go through it, and we know that there are undead moving through the upland marsh. We should be careful here as well, in case there are some here.
Do you have experience with swamps?
There are no swamps near us, so no, but they're similar enough to forests. From here on out, we should be quiet. The less said, the better. Let's not draw attention to ourselves.
She's going to take a deep breath, and she's going to look back, of course, that one last time, and then she's going to look forward, and she's going to start climbing down that hill. Her brother says he didn't misnavigate. She's not going to argue that.
Is this like the horses are going to be shitty through here?
Yeah. This is going to be very difficult to navigate.
Do love
going into.
Sorry, you're going.
Going into the swamp is going to be real tough. And I'm just going to throw towards you, if you want to take any preparation, like trying to set your horses like loose here or something like that, or double checking your routes, moving quietly like you suggested. Now is the time to make all those decisions that are going to make this voyage possible.
Do love offloading a horse. It's always a good scene in one of these adventures. I think it's goodbye horse time. Should we dump some ponies and trek through the marsh? How about? I presume we can reload and respawn the other time. I presume we haven't seen like a town or anything for a little while. This is pretty remote.
Yeah, you were probably when you cut south away from the river, you moved away from most of the towns. The next one that you hit should be Swordvale. Now, you would have said you were only a couple of days from reaching it, but swamps are difficult to navigate at the best of times. And although you are pretty sure, tell us that you haven't led the collection of you astray, you might have. I mean, there's some worries here, and if you ditch these horses, you are going to be leaving a lot of supplies behind. So you're going to have to.
We're also, this is like how common are, just like for the world state, how common are maps? Is this like maps are a valuable thing? Like, we're probably just going less on like, yes, the maps and more on, we were just told it was like 2 weeks in that direction. I'm just pretty good
2 weeks that way.
I know about how quickly I can move. This seems early. Like, it's kind of eyeballing it, right?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You don't have a bunch of like super clear, super precise maps or knowledge of the area like that. This seems out of place of everything you've heard, but people get things wrong all the time,
Standing before a marsh, we expected to fight a marsh, and just being bewildered that this would dare to happen.
How
I'm just having a look at my skills.
How dare this Marsh appear?
And right when we wanted it. My ride skill sucks, so I think these horses are not long for the world if they come into the dread swamp with us. Seeing if I have anything else that might help.
If you ditch the horses, I'm going to make you choose between one of two important pieces of equipment. I'm assuming you're bringing all of your weapons with you, right?
And my house sister.
Because,
unfortunately, right, I need the space.
Oh, sorry.
This is where we part ways.
If you ditch the horses, you're going to have to pick either between having surplus supplies, so it's now going to be a factor like you only have a couple of days left, or you've got a bunch of pretty cumbersome, like, nice gifts that you were going to give when you arrive in Swordvale out of respect and something like that. So you could bundle those up and bury them somewhere and come back and hopefully pick them up later.
Yeah, I guess we probably want the preserved gifts, right? Because I might be able to forage for supplies
In the swamps?
I'm more likely to find food than gifts.
Okay. We'll surrender the food and the excess supplies then.
We're not cursing these horses, are we, Jim? Like, they'll be happy out here, right?
No, what they're going to do is, this would be a relatively established thing. You are still in lands that are considered pretty friendly to horses and to, your larger tribal group. So what you would do is you would unburden the horses, you would leave some markings on them so people know who they are, and you would let them go. And they would probably just be like, well, we're not going into that stupid marsh, so we're going to go this way.
Yeah. If found,
so that brings up a good point that Iratia would like to investigate or look into. Has there been any traffic this direction recently where it looks like several other people may, because if whatever this infection, whatever this curse, whatever is happening is not just affecting our tribe, other people may be coming to make inquiries. Is there any evidence that there's been any type of incoming or outgoing traffic here, I don't know, in the last X days?
Sure. Would you like to make a track check?
That is actually one of the things she improved in. So what she's going to do is still lean resource management. Tell us, is there any evidence that anyone else has come this way recently?
I'll look. I'm also quite proficient in track. And are we able to help one another out here, or do you want us to each roll?
Unfortunately not. This is going to be a solo endeavor.
Okay. Can we both roll?
I'm happy for you both to roll. Yeah, that's okay. Fine. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to say that you're going to be rolling on different areas. Because this is a pretty wide range. One of you is going to head right up to sort of the edge of the marsh and get kind of an idea of what might be going on there. And the other sort of hops on one of the horses before you set it free and does like a kind of along the way, goes back and forth. So you'll be getting different pieces of information from this.
Okay. I'll head to the marsh of the two, if that's suits.
Okay. Fantastic. Sure.
I'll check the periphery and she'll hop on a horse.
All right. Let's start with Telos then. Why don't you hit us with a track check?
Okay. So I am rolling under my track skill, which is 80.
80. Okay.
Nice.
Do I want to
Yeah. Do you want to augment? You are a good tracker. This is within your skill set.
I am. Let's see what we got here. I will invoke. I feel like Beast is probably my best argument for just my means of tracking. And I think I'm looking for this I am treating this more as if we are the prey, then have there been predators through here. So I'm sort of flighty, I'm checking the thing, I'm concerned about tracks of some larger apex predator or patrol of flippin' lunars. So I'm first going to try and augment with my Beast runes. I'm rolling under 75 here. Schwang.
Yep.
Oh, baby, that's a 10.
So that is definitely going to be a special success.
Yeah, it's a special.
It's not less than a 20th, so it's not going to be a critical success.
So what do I get with special again? That's plus...
so on your augment, sorry,
yes.
My bad. On a special success, you add plus 30 to the desired ability.
Hot dog, I'll have that. That brings me up to 110.
Excellent. And also remember to tick the augment. Yes. So if you use your Beast rune, remember to tick your Beast rune because you'll have a chance to increase it.
All right. I scramble along through the mud and the muck, immediately covering myself in the stench of peat and bog. as I look for the signs of lunars. Fucking hell, yes. These rolls are wasted. That is a 5. That is a crit.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
So that you got your skill up to 110, right? So
Yeah.
that is going to be a critical. That is
Yeah, that's
under.
great.
Oh my god! What? Okay.
Love that for me.
Oh.
Okay, fantastically done. That's a good start. Okay. So tick your track, and
I will.
Basically, here's the situation. You get into the swamp, and immediately you do realize, oh yeah, this isn't just regular kind of marshlands. There are brilliant places in the world that are kind of swampy.
Yeah.
There is something else here, and you can smell beyond the kind of average putrefaction of death that lingers in these places that are filled with rot. There is a wrongness. There is a foulness. You immediately are sent back to the barrows in your mind, into those tombs, and you can tell that there is something unpleasant here. You keep looking around and expecting to find, in the patterns of lilies or in the moss on trees, symbols of this undeath room. You don't see anything right away. What you do see is tracks, and a lot of them. There has been considerable movement. This takes you, because Rachel is going to be away for probably 90 minutes or something, doing a full back and forth, a while, and you venture into the marshes a little bit. With a critical success, you are going to find the following. First of all, this marsh is new. Dramatically new. You're getting this with your crit, you are going to be able to find evidence of rapidly decomposed plants and bits of flora and fauna that only exist in well-trodden farmed areas. You find the remnants of wheat and what looks like crops and carefully cultivated farm plants from farms and stuff like that. It seems like this marsh, this swamp, has rapidly developed, and you wouldn't be able to put a timeline on it because, by the very fact of its rapid development, something magical is at work here. But you now are convinced you did lead yourselves correctly. This swamp is encroaching. You are also going to find a number of pretty concerning tracks. First of all, you find these sort of dragged kind of bits and furrows in the mud. You would guess that these are zombies, these kind of low, inconsistent bad patterns with the occasional slump as somebody falls. These never leave the marsh. Fortunately, they seem to be boarded out. You are also going to find another set of tracks that look like hooves, so riders, except they are erratic
centaurs.
and inconsistent. Well, yeah, you would immediately guess centaurs, actually.
No shit.
You said it out loud. No.
What would we know about centaurs? What's the go with centaurs?
So
They're big horse guys?
I'll get you to make some subsequent rolls in a minute, but you would know almost nothing about centaurs unless you succeed some checks. So but what happens is you got a crit. Hey, you got to pay the crit. You're looking down at these hooves and you're going, these hoof prints, this is not riders, this is not led beasts, this is not wild horses. They are moving in a strange pattern. There's almost an intelligence here. It's got to be centaurs. Thinking that, you step forward to one large tree and you find there is planted hooves, as if some centaur had positioned themselves right in front of the tree. And quite high up, because centaurs would conceivably be very large, there's a smear of blood. You're a tracker. You immediately think a centaur was slamming their face into this tree again
cool.
and again.
That's
and
fucked
you
up.
don't know why.
Sanity roll?
Wrong game.
All right, we're safe. We're good.
Oh,
I go,
yeah.
that's cooked. I hate that. And then I continue.
That is amazing.
I'll come back to you in just a second to tell you the rest of what you find, because with a crit, there's going to be a lot, but I want to jump across to Iracha for a little bit. You jump on to one of the horses and you begin to ride along, going along the periphery, trying to check things out. Can I ask you, does Iracha's demeanor change when she gets away from Telos for a second?
No, I don't think so. There's some intentionality there, though. A lot of the skills that she increased on our down period were skills that Telos typically does that she's not good at. So there's part of that sibling rivalry where she just wants to be better than what
Hell
she
yeah.
is. but she's also like, he doesn't keep his ass at home long enough, and I can't depend on him the way I need to. So I need to start, developing some of these skills. So track is one of the things she had base in, and she put everything she could in on one of her development cycles.
Fantastic. Okay, brilliant. So please make a track check for me, and you can augment it if you would like.
Okay. She is not going to augment, and she is actually going to fail that one miserably. So she's looking for campsites. She's looking for horse manure. She's looking for anything that she can find. Poorly.
Going through, this marsh has wiped out any sign of travel. You don't even find good signs of civilization, and you are going to ride back feeling almost more lost than you were when you came.
Okay.
As you are riding back, though, you're heading down to meet Telos, who is at the edge of the marsh. You're at one of the high points, the top of a ridge, and you glance deep through the fog into the trees, and way, way, way away, you think you can see what looks like an enormous shape smashing through the trees for just a moment before you look down and, it's gone, so you ride back. Telos, we then cut to you. The one last thing you find is an enormous footprint, easily the size of you lying down. There are rumors that the upland marsh has such powerful necromantic force in it that ancient beasts who wandered the world before humans came around, still roam here because they have been risen from the dead.
Cool.
You are pretty sure you're looking at a dinosaur track. As you stand looking at it. And it seems oddly skeletal.
Okay, I understand that should be concerning, but that fucking rules, and I hope we see that.
Out of character, that rocks.
Yeah, that rules for sure. Are we just playing Jurassic Park now? This is sick.
So the two of you rally back. What's the plan?
What did she find?
We're on the right track. This marsh is new. It sprung up in the last few weeks. It shouldn't be here, but it is. And we're not alone. There are undead moving through it, and there are centaurs as well. I don't know much about them, but I understand them to be intelligent, and one of them here has slain itself, or tried to. Furthermore,
she can't help but just to look up into that tree at that print.
Furthermore, there may be older and more dangerous things stalking the marsh. And I'll point out the giant, sweet-ass brontosaurus footprint, or whatever it is.
All
Big
right,
lizard.
Fantastic.
I'm already covered in marsh juice, and working.
Ew.
I'm gonna use that to disguise my scent further. Immediately, fully committing to blending into the environment. So I've got bits of peat and bog and whatever all through my hair. I'm gonna suggest that Irachie do the same, so that we can throw off anything that tries to track us by scent as well as sight. And then I'm going to say we stick low and, slosh through all the muck and everything as we go through and try and avoid notice as best we can. And hope we don't catch diseases because, gross.
Irachie, are you happy to do that? Any hesitation, or will you petrify yourself?
Listen, she has to go with the advice of the person that knows. So looking at that blood splat on the ground or on the tree, and then looking at this just behemoth footprint on the ground, she's immediately just going to start tying up her hair, and she's going to start wading in.
Hell yeah.
All right. Fantastic.
The only thing I guess we'll keep clear will just be weapons so that they stay clean. So it's sort of covered in bottom, and then there's bright white bow, and then weapons kept aloft. But hopefully it's enough to avoid notice.
The two of you start venturing deeper into the bog. It stinks. It is hot The rain that trickles from overhead almost feels like it doesn't, hit you as cold droplets here. Everything is caught by the trees and drips down as, muddy little rivulets, but you keep on forcing forward. While you're moving, I've got 2 questions for you. First of all, you can both take the time to make a roll, get some additional insight. I don't want you guys to make a series of rolls because you're focusing on traveling, and this is going to represent things occurring to you as you go. But I'd be happy for anybody to make a Elder Race lore. That is under the knowledge bracket. That would be to learn about centaurs. You can make a customs local check if you would like to learn more about sort of the upland marsh in general. And if you would like to know anything specifically about rumors of great beasts, I'm going to be looking for animal lore. These are all knowledge skills, and they might not be stuff that you necessarily have a bunch in. There's always a chance. Otherwise, things might remain mysterious, and that's just as good.
I was interested in the centaurs until dinosaurs entered the story. Now I no longer care for these big hoof boys. I only care for the big lizard. I want to know.
It's so amazing how you upgraded so fast.
So quickly. That information dump was like, okay, zombies, cool. New swamp, that's interesting. Centaurs.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and they're
centaurs.
killing. That's right, the dinosaurs.
Dinos. Yeah.
I'll look into. I've actually got quite decent animal lore as well, so I'll look into the dinos.
Okay. Fantastic. What about you, Arecha?
Iratia is going to go with customs local. And what she's going to do, she's going to augment, I think, with her harmony rune, just as they're sloshing through the swamp. She's going to try to pull back one of those songs her mother used to sing to see if she can pull some type of recollection about any of this. Like, oh, what was that song? And like, even though she's allegedly being quiet, like Telos could probably hear her like very low hitting certain notes.
Sick.
Trying to like refine that song.
Okay, fantastic. Make your harmony room check. We'll start with you, Arecha.
Okay. This is going under a 75. This is brilliant. She hit an 85.
85. Okay, under 75, you hit an 85. That is not
close.
great. Okay,
What am I locked out of that rune already?
with a failure on a rune, you have a negative 20% to use of that rune until you spend a day meditating on the rune itself. So you keep trying to remember the song, and maybe you can't, and maybe that's just the more disconcerting thing.
Okay.
Tell us, what about yourself?
Do you want to resolve the actual roll?
Oh, of course, yes. I keep thinking that the roll fails. That is not the instance. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you. Arecha, please make the actual roll. So you don't take a negative 20 to the roll. Roll will stay flat.
Okay. These are dice that I bought while I was in Australia. I'm going to go ahead and put those away since they don't want to play nice tonight.
It's because the gravity's flipped. Now you're in the northern hemisphere. They don't roll.
It is. Yeah, so we're gonna put our Melbourne dice away, and thank God things make sense again. He hit a 10 under 25.
10 under 25. That's good.
Yes.
Okay. So
Thank you guys.
You don't have a ton of customs local, but thinking back to, the various bits and pieces that you have picked up over the years, you know that the rumors are that the Upland Marsh was an area that was taken over by a particularly powerful necromancer. The name escapes you at this point, but supposedly it is the Hall of All Things Dead, and everyone stays away from there. Now, one other thing pops into your mind here, and you know that you swear that you've heard some interpretations of the story, some interpretations of the myth, that necromancer, whoever he or she or they were, was descended from a very, very old ancient empire, the empire that came before, long ago. And supposedly this empire was incredibly, not necessarily scientifically advanced, but magically advanced. And they made all kinds of strange experiments. And the word chimera jumps into your head. The unnatural merging of beasts. So that's going to be, you're getting links here, not necessarily full information.
Add that on the pile of
Just what a great day.
Chimeras, yeah. Good luck with that.
Well, I mean,
would this
would yeah. So sorry, after you.
Is this gonna be offensive to our centaurs aren't chimeras, are they? They're like half horse, half guy. That's
That's exactly the kind of thing that you would know for sure with an elder race lore check. But there's
that feels
you
offensive
definitely
to
make that
centaurs.
link and you go, because from what you know, there was an old empire that did strange, mysterious experiments to merge man and beast, and now you're seeing centaurs around here in the location of this old empire's seat of power. Yeah, there's probably some links here.
That is.
It is.
Okay, so good thought. Let's get you to make that animal lore check.
Okay, so very briefly, this kind of super rules. I was looking at my god Yinkin because I was like, oh, maybe I can justify getting some knowledge because I'm very beast tied, yada yada yada. Anyway, and then I was just reading because I got kind of excited about it. So you mentioned we're going towards the sacred time, right? We're in the month preceding.
You're in storm season. You're getting close to sacred time. That's right.
So, in the 3 weeks just prior to sacred time, the cult of Yinkin will host a great hunt. It's like a whole thing. And I'm just thinking, if I'm in a region where dinosaurs are roaming, leading into a period where I'm supposed to do a great hunt, I know that's probably like people more senior in the cult. That sounds pretty freaking sweet. So I think Telos is beginning to be like, I'm bringing down one of these things. I'm going to kill a dinosaur.
I'm going to kill a dinosaur.
You know, I guess we could solve the undead thing if we have time for it after I kill a dinosaur.
Priority shifted.
Oh, absolutely. Instantly. As soon as there were zombie dinosaurs on the field.
All right.
But I'm just going to roll a straight animal lore. So I have base 5, plus 10 modifier for my knowledge, because I am smart, and plus 30. So under 45. Feel good about this. Oh no, that does it. 41. That is just under. Thank God for that base 5.
Okay, fantastic.
And I'm thinking about dinosaurs and the hunting of them.
Okay, well, let me give you a little information about the hunting of dinosaurs then. Dinosaurs are very, very, very dangerous. They are big and they are strong, and even the smallest of them has the capacity to, like, you know, tear a human apart if you get unlucky. So they're really, really dangerous adversaries. And what makes them worse is that dinosaurs are linked with dragon newts, which is one of the sort of other elder lore races. We don't need to go into that too much at this stage. We'll keep things as, you know, we've already got about 1 million things diving in at once. So let's just settle it at dinosaurs can sometimes be very, very intelligent and have access to spells, which makes them incredibly deadly. You know, think of them more like a mythos beast from Call of Cthulhu.
What? They're spellcasters too?
What the hell?
The disrespect.
I want a T-Rex and a wizard hat.
What?
So are dinosaurs like current? Are they like? Because these are we think these are zombie dinosaurs that were reanimated. Are dinosaurs still a thing? Like, are there living ones in other regions?
Dinosaurs are still a thing, but they are very, very uncommon. There are some cults in Glorantha that worship dinosaurs and that make them, that's a major part of their religion. But you are not going to find dinosaurs wandering around unless you find one and then, okay, that's the topic of the new scenario, is that you found a dinosaur, because, you know, it's a very large
So they are
deal.
around, but they're rare. And what were they more common in the old days?
So during the ancient times, you know, all of the kind of wild and crazy, hyper magical things were far more common. So yes, that's right. Now, just you asked from a hunting perspective. So let me just tell you this: you think that if something is reanimated, it's dead, probably doesn't have any spells. The other thing is that you're thinking about what they're really good at, and that is, like, you know, even though they're so big, they have such amazing dexterity that they can, like, whip at you if they razor sharp claws. If they're reanimated, they're probably not going to have that dexterity. So dinosaurs, super dangerous. Zombie dinosaur,
not as bad.
Maybe not as bad. You know, you'd rather all of that. It's definitely, you know, sorry, zombie dinosaur versus dinosaur wizard. I've got my bets.
Yeah.
Bridget's just massaging her.
So stressed out. Really excited for Telos. Out of game.
Love
Bridget is stressed out. James, I have a question for you. Just if she would know this, and I feel really dumb about asking this question, but it's bothering me. Is there a certain etiquette that we should be adhering by when going into this marsh, being this the neighbors of the people we're here to talk to?
The marsh is outside of the boundaries of where Sartar sort of claims dominion. At least you're now in the base of this horrible necromantic figure. So the etiquette is
be polite.
Don't get seen, hide, and if suddenly you get a chance to shoot something with a bow and get a quick shot, go ahead.
Okay, I just didn't want to get to the other side and we killed like some undead thing. It's like, oh, we can't talk to you anymore. You killed cousin Bob. I just didn't know what the etiquette was there. So
there's always that risk, but no, you are as certain as you could possibly be that this is a situation where it's like if you see something, you're going to kill it.
So.
Got it.
Speaking of which, you are going to see something very soon.
Oh God!
But before then, I need to know about what strategy you guys are employing as you move through the marsh. Once you start to travel through this area, you're going to quickly realize that Talos's suspicions were right. This does appear to be a very newly created region of marsh. So you find like roads through here, and they have rotted, but not rotted in this kind of like hundreds of years of being, hidden in a marsh. Rotted in the something magical has forced this place to like expand, and bring its putrefying power out into the landscape. So there's still enough infrastructure here that you occasionally stumble on like bits of cleared road that you could use. If you had horses, it'd be particularly easy, but they're currently frolicking at a nearby
having a
field.
way better time than us.
That said, traveling along the road is still going to be easy. It's just going to be very, very visible. Traveling through the swamp itself is going to require, the risk of it. You're going to have to make a skill check of some sort. You could potentially risk damaging your equipment or even taking some damage, but you will be much more difficult to spot. Your decision.
I would suggest we go on the roads. All evidence points to the creatures that oppose us are undead, and I suspect they care little for infrastructure. I suspect they're just meandering around, splashing through the swamp. So if we can move a little faster and a little safer, that's probably the best thing. And we're like still keeping low and covered in mud to obfuscate, but that would be my suggestion.
10 out of 10 times. Anytime Telos makes a tactical suggestion, she thinks about it for all of 0.2 seconds and agrees. Right. But being locked out of her harmony room, she's going to argue, but we'd be more vulnerable. They'd be able to see us faster. They'd be able to track us faster.
Hopefully they will be slow and we can outpace them. We can always move into the swamp and hide. Why don't we start on the road? We can hop off if we see anything coming.
Very well.
Okay. Stay low. Follow me.
And with that settled, you move on to the road and you start to travel along. It is a lot easier. You do not have to make any checks. You're not struggling through the undergrowth, trying to, desperately forge a path. As you move deeper, you start to see rotted out signs, placards pointing, and some of them still are legible as being like directions towards Swordvale. At one point, as you're continuing along the road, you get to a small arterial path. This is the kind of thing that you would have seen a million times around your homes, and this would be the kind of area that leads up to somebody's personal farm, or someone's personal property, somebody who lives a little bit outside of town. As you get close to that area, you start to hear, just in the distance, coming up from that road, this loud chomping, roaring,
dinosaur,
chittering.
Dinosaur.
Looking down, riding off the back of your track check, you can see what look like small, two-hand, raptor-sized prints that are leading up along this arterial road. This is not necessarily on your path, but I leave it to you.
There are no human screams of like, stop biting me.
Make a listen check.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Are we in the 3 weeks before the holiday season? Or is this I should do this on the way back?
You would probably not, strictly speaking, be inside the 3 weeks.
Okay, I'll hold it then. We'll do it on the return trip. I'm gonna get one of these dinosaurs. I'm gonna bag me a big
I'll
one.
tell you what. We'll say that I'll orchestrate things to make sure that you are near the upland marsh when the 3 weeks truly begin.
You don't need to orchestrate shit. I'm coming back.
I'll come back.
Yeah, you think we're leaving? I'm bagging a dinosaur. I failed. I rolled a 49 over 45.
As did I, 89 over 35.
So neither of you can definitively hear whether or not you can. There's screams up there. There's definitely movement and agitation. Let's see how much being locked out of that harmony rune affects you. Aracha, do you make any moves to suggest you head up the path?
Well, the last thing I heard was follow me, which means Telos is in front of me, and we didn't technically hear anything other than the squawking sound.
Yeah.
You heard the squawking sound, and you have spotted tracks. Telos, you stop enough in front of it that they are clearly indicated.
It's what it is. She's behind Telos right now, so if he stops moving, she's gonna stop moving. What is it?
I pause for a moment and I look down at it and I say, "There's something up above, but we can avoid it if we just stay low, stay on the path. Let's keep going." In my head, I'm thinking we've only seen evidence of undead things. It's probably just running around mauling a shambler or something. If there's no sign of anything being alive, I'm not going to risk us just to chase down and save a ghoul.
So if we're moving slow, what she's going to do is when he takes off forward, she's actually going to flip around and follow in reverse.
Sick.
Okay.
I'll also have my weapon drawn and an arrow knocked from here on out, ready to swing something if it comes.
Are you going to get off the path or head up this arterial road?
No, we'll stay on the path, trying to push through.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so you stay true and continue moving. And just to be clear, because there are two paths you could technically take. You are leaving the arterial road. You are not going up to investigate.
There was there's kind of the main road we're following that goes through the swamp and to our destination beyond. Then there's the muck all around it, and there's an offshoot. We are avoiding the offshoot and continuing on the main path through. Given that from all we're aware, it's just there are hostiles up there and no potential victims, we'll just avoid the hell out of that. I don't want
that poor family.
It sucks for them.
God, that does sucks for them.
Our conscience is clear. We don't know they're up there. We just
That's
suspect.
very true. Blame the dice.
Yeah, blame the dice.
Okay, fantastic. So you continue on further and further then, and gradually you get pretty far from that road. The sounds of any raptors fade from sight, and you come to what would have once probably been a crossroads, but when you reach it, you realize that it is clear that the putrefaction, the rotting power has affected here more strongly than anywhere else. There is also evidence of some kind of campsite that has been set up since the swamp had arrived. So you can see like modern tents, modern gear, stuff like that. The crossroad breaks off and you can see that one pathway appears to head up towards Swordvale, your destination. The other pathway heads towards what you are pretty sure should be Upland Marsh. This would be the road that actually takes you in towards the marsh itself. The camp that you're standing in front of looks pretty abandoned, but there's quite a lot of gear here. Investigate, continue along.
I think we want to head into the Swordvale, right? That's where we think the fellow is. And going into the marsh of the undead when we're here to ask questions about the undead, that feels like it
wouldn't be necessarily
to flip and
useful,
die.
but the question is, are you going to stop and you're going to try and investigate this camp first, basically?
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
So you've come along the road, you hit a crossroads, and there is a camp set up along the crossroads.
Oh, shit.
The crossroads leads in two directions. There is apart from the road that you're coming along, which is towards the Upland Marsh itself or towards Swordvale, right? The camp looks abandoned from what you can see. You can immediately just turn. You are still in this, like, we are racing through the swamps, we need to move quickly, or you can stop and investigate. You've already bypassed one sort of investigation area, so you probably have a little bit more time.
Yeah. If there's something here to take a look at, if people moved through here possibly before it turned into Dread Swamp, that's worth having a look at.
This appears to be from afterwards, so all of the stuff here doesn't look rotted out. It's like a campsite with like tents and bedrolls and like remains. It has been abandoned.
Yeah, it's a cold camp.
Like it was made in the last couple of days.
Okay. I would like to take a look at that. Yeah.
Okay, the two of you step forward. I'd like either a search check to start going through all of the elements here, or I would like a survival check to try and reverse engineer, the purpose of this camp, what it was doing here, or I'll also take a track check, obviously, just to get information about passage. If you would like to take time, so this is notably you are lingering in the swamp, you can add plus 20 percentile points to the value of your roll to make it more likely, but this is you are holding behind.
What do you reckon? Do you wanna spend a beat here?
I think it's worth our time. If someone came in before us, I can start on the inside if you take the periphery.
All right, let's do it.
All right. She'll take the extra 20 on just a search on just ripping open the camp.
Okay, you head in, you start tearing through it, you're taking a while. Tell us, what roll are you going to make?
I guess I will do track and see if anyone was here and where they went.
Okay.
And I will take plus 20 as well, please and thank you.
Fantastic. So, both of you taking time, let's start with Iracha. Could you please make for me a search roll?
Yeah, absolutely. She failed. By 9 points. I'm going to get new dice again.
Swap it around again.
European dice now.
Oh my gosh, somebody needs to love me tonight.
You head into the camp, you start looking through it. There's not a lot of information here. You will be able to find out just by actually going in and spending the time, a bit of basic information. It appeared that this is a 2-person camp. It appeared that these people were traveling light, except they did have a lot of space for supplies. So they either had some kind of stop-off point nearby, where they were hesitating and using that as a point where they could resupply, or they were on the last dregs of what they had. You will also find several pieces of weaponry, for want of another word, or evidence of weaponry. There's well-packed equipment to maintain and care for gear, but the gear itself, the sword in question that all those oils and things should maintain, does not appear to be present. That's all you're going to find with a standard search roll. Although if you would like to take anything from here that I've mentioned, you can load it up into your baggages. Yeah,
she'll take what she can.
All right. You grab a bit of sort of repair equipment, some spare supplies if you can, and we go across to Tellus. Tellus, can you make a track check for me?
Okay. With that plus 20, that brings me up to 100.
All right. Pretty likely you succeed.
Ew.
That's a good face. What are we looking at?
1 off a crit. I rolled a 6.
The worst.
But
still
that is
another
still
special success.
Still a great special.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Moving around the outside of the camp, you were able to figure out a couple of things. First of all, these people have been wandering through the swamp for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
You find evidence that they moved through from actually the direction that you just came in and set up here. But you can also find underneath the evidence of passage around the camp where they went to collect wood and bits and pieces, older tracks, still within the scope of when this swamp must have arrived, but older. So your estimation would be this swamp arrives, somebody comes in, and these 2 people start moving through the area pretty swiftly, setting up camp at multiple points, and they've camped here before. You also figure out that they were being followed, and they were being followed by the same centaur tracks that you had found out beforehand.
Oof.
Lastly, you find they appear to have left in a hurry, and they appear to have fled down deeper into the upland marsh. or ran down
pursued
deeper.
by
Fled is not
Centaur.
necessarily clear, but they left quickly, leaving all their gear behind, and went deeper into the marsh.
Do we get a
taking
sense
the
for
branch that
how many of them there were? Was this a force of hundreds? I was like
it's
two people. Oh, shit.
Two-party crew.
Sounds familiar. What idiots would be moving through this zombie-infested swamp with just two of them?
Oh my god, in a pair? That's terrible tactics. Who would do that?
Foolish.
I propose we
Foolish
immediately
indeed.
follow these people and then get ganked by centaurs.
Since
Okay.
you've spent a while searching, before you break off and make your decisions, you are going to start to hear movement through the swamp pretty close to you. You do hear thundering feet, and you worry for a second it is raptors, but then coming bursting through one of the patches of water is a horse, and it appears to be rather distressed. It sort of bursts through, skittering. It's just a horse, it's not a centaur, and it looks panicked. It looks unsure of what it should be. It is covered in scratches, but it also has like a deep, large talon cut down its side. Only thing you can think of is it must be from the raptor or something like that. Upon seeing the two of you, it whinnies anxiously and is going to start kind of sprinting around, kind of getting towards you, kind of not. You're humans and it's scared. This is clearly a domesticated horse, although it is not saddled up. It doesn't have anything on it that suggests that it was being ridden.
Shouldn't bring your horses into swamps. What would be like chilling it?
Good question. I think that you could make a herd check here.
That probably suits. How are you for herd? All right, are you a animal handler?
A beautiful 15.
15.
She knows they're there and soft strokes on the butt.
Be good. Yeah, I got 25, so not much better.
I just want to clarify something really fast. It has run up to us. It was like in a breakneck panic speed, and it's in front of us right now.
It has run as if it was being pursued, and it gets to you and starts going like it's panicked. It's
like freshly cut. Like it's been.
Yeah, it's bleeding.
Okay.
It's
I'm probably gonna
coming from the direction that you came. If you had to hazard a guess, you'd say possibly from the turnoff that you.
I'm probably gonna look to where it came from and keeping an eye on that to see what's coming. And
can you make a scan check?
Okay.
And this is very leaning into that broken harmony rune. As a rule, if she's looking at Telos doing an eye up on the horse, like, ooh, I can calm that down, she's actually just going to slide an arm directly over his chest, almost in like a, no, you're not, don't touch it.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
So I will take during this, I'll look past it and see if we can see what's coming. So I'm rolling under 45. I've rolled an 84, so that will fail.
Okay. You blink and you try and peer as close as you can into the trees. You spot something. It's another horse, and it's heading the wrong way. And as you watch, it gets sort of like mired in some of the bog, and you can see it literally fall over as it's trying to frantically flee. These creatures are not used to that. You spot more shadows up the back, and you think you can spot, is that another one? Is this a whole herd of horses? The one next to you is continuing to whinny. Whatever has spooked them remains outside of your vision for the time being.
Okay.
Aratia's going to get low because she just feels like it's coming.
Yeah, I will do the same. I'm prepared to get attacked.
Okay, the two of you sprint sideways, and you're going to park yourselves carefully. You can both make a hide check for me. You are in a pretty difficult to navigate swamp, and you have the advantage here. Add plus 20% to your rolls.
I think I might
nice.
augment
Thank you
this
for
as
that.
well. I think I want to get this. I want to get the hell out of here.
For reference, this is now a scene, a fresh scene as something approaches you. So if you get an augment, you're gonna this will be your augment for the scene.
Good call.
Okay.
Good call. Just think what I want to augment with.
Same.
There it is. That's what I want. I think. Here we go. Yeah, darkness is stealth.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to augment with darkness.
Fantastic.
Rune. So
All
I'm
right.
rolling under my darkness, which is 40. I am failing by a lot.
Okay, so that's
Oof.
negative 20 to Darkness Rune. And you can make your stealth check. Rachel, you're not augmenting?
No, she's going to augment as well. I was just going through the notes that I took from the book, and I'm seeing that movement is adapt quickly to changing circumstances. As a rule, she wouldn't let a horse die like this.
Sick,
But
yeah.
today, she's like, we're getting low, and we're going to leave that horse alone.
Yep. I'd be happy for you to sort of do movement. You're in a foreign environment. I'm happy for you to augment with movement here. That's fine.
Beautiful. She hit
Quickly
a
scram
6
and
under 75.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god, 675. That is not a crit, but it is a special success.
It's a special.
That is going to be
Plus
at
30, I
30.
believe. Nice.
Yeah.
She needs it.
All right,
Brilliant.
I'm rolling under my hide, which is actually not great.
What are we landing on? What's the value?
For the roll? For the... All right,
Yeah.
my skill is 35 total.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And,
So you can add 20 to it, remember? So you get 55.
Oh, that might... Because what I rolled here looks a whole lot like a fumble.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
And I'm now just figuring out what that plus 20 does for me.
We'll leave you to that for just a second, and we are going to jump across to Iracha.
Okay. Irata is immediately disconnecting herself emotionally from both of these horses. She's getting low with the augment. She made it. Not a special,
Okay,
but she
fantastic.
made the
What
hide.
did you roll? Sorry. What was your final result?
She hit a 22 under hide is 30 plus 20 or plus 30, 60.
And
22
then
under
plus 20
60.
again. So it wasn't quite a special, but it's still a very good.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's another 20 on top of that. That's
Yeah,
right.
because
Thank
you
you.
have sort of advantage in the terrain here. Tell us, did you fumble?
Yep.
Okay.
I rolled a 99. I would have needed to get above 70 to not fumble that. So, yeah. I throw myself to the side and I guess land on a spike.
Oh, not great. Okay, so you two both rush down to try and hide. When you rush down, Telos, you hit like the edge of the swamp, and you go to stand just a little bit in the mucky water because you're used to it, but it's a lot deeper than you expect, and you find yourself tumbling down, and then you're fine with filth on you, but this goes in your mouth and you suddenly move just as you see a shadow come bursting through. There are horses around and they are all running from what is clearly exactly what you hoped for, feared, I don't know, it's the same thing. It is a raptor, a dinosaur of some kind, except it is covered in mud. It's flesh and scales are kind of either shriveled up till they look almost fossilized, or they are hanging off it in dribs and drabs. The only part of it that looks still new is its gleaming long talon that is dripping with fresh blood and muck from the horses that it has maimed and from the mud that it has moved through. It bares its teeth towards you, except it doesn't really have lips, so it kind of just chomps and then is going to launch itself forward. We're going to proceed into strike rank order as the combat begins. Tell us, you are going to begin the battle. You are lying down, sort of, so you're trapped, you're in the mud, and you're covered in crud. So
Damn, this sucks.
freeing yourself is going to be a bit of an endeavor.
I am going to move to do that.
Okay, fantastic. So I think that to get up is going to probably cost you, and to get like free
5
is probably going to cost you 2 strike points, but then you will not begin with your weapon defaulted as ready.
Yeah.
So
So
total
7 to, I think I got to knock an arrow as well. So I just spend the first one. Can I just spend the first one ridding myself of these circumstances? So I am going to pull myself out of it, scramble backwards away from this thing so that hopefully Iratia can intercept, being the more melee proficient, and then move myself back, flicking off shit and drawing and knocking arrows. So that would be my first round.
All right, and you will begin having drawn with an arrow knocked clean, as clean as you can be, not currently trapped.
Yeah.
The raptor thing is going to begin to charge forward. It is going to hit you, or failing that, it is going to hit whoever intercepts it, and it's going to start trying to rip you apart.
Save me, horse!
Horse!
They've been doomed from the beginning of this game.
Oh, it's a bad day to be a horse. This is no
it's
good.
a bad day to be a horse.
I'm glad we did not bring our horses. They would have immediately been slaughtered by something.
Gosh.
Not so good. Iracha, what is your move here?
Yeah, I mean, her move was going to be let's lay low and let this thing eat and move on about its day. But since her brother wants to botch his rolls, it looks like she's moving in on him. So all the effort she just took to get low, she's going to have to emerge from the muck and she's going to have to move and attack. So I believe with a move with the attack, that puts her at strike rank 7, unless I'm eating up extra strike ranks on how difficult it is to move through the terrain.
You were hidden, and the terrain is difficult, but I'm happy for you to come in on 7. I think you do the sprint, and you arrive and you strike. Here's the thing, though. If you do that, you are going to be crossing in a flat sprint, so you are going to be tearing over. If you would like, you can increase the strike rank that you land on to be moving quietly, so you can maintain your hide. That might mean that you risk Telos getting hit, but it will allow you to get close enough to be able to attack while still hidden.
Listen,
cool. Yeah,
she can't tolerate her brother getting injured when she can intercept, unless she's locked out of her harmony room.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Brilliant. So you're going to lock in.
So she'll go with the stealthy glide through the muck and come up when she comes.
Okay, that is absolutely brilliant. I love it. So let's go to you then, Telos. You begin to throw yourself out of the muck. You start to move. You start to struggle back. You're tearing through. You catch a glimpse of Iratia not sprinting to intercept as you were hoping, but actually creeping
Telos,
through
remember
the field.
this.
Yeah, I know.
A second later,
can I even, whether I'm aware of that or not, before I make a decision, can I go for my hatchet and shield? I'm just thinking if this thing's melee charging, can I I go for that rather than the bow?
Sure. That is totally fine. Yeah, you can have changed.
Because
that.
just given the circumstance, I'm not going to be able to get that far away from it anyway.
No,
it feels like a quick moving thing. It feels like
you change. I think strictly mechanically, what would happen is that you would, because you were going to run and then ready, you would run and then ready your weapons. But in the spirit of, I think it makes total sense that you go shit and you fumble, bow drops.
Well,
the
because in
side,
theory I didn't have it readied, right? Yeah, so I'm just swapping to. So rather than drawing the bow and getting that going, I'm going to get the shield.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this thing launches towards you. As it gets close, you can see these ancient kind of mottled blues and purples along its scales as it rushes in, and then on strike rank 8, it is going to reach you. And it is going to spin out with one of its large foreclaws, and it is going to try and grab you. You can immediately see, dinosaurs, you succeeded your roll. This thing is slower. It is a little less well balanced. It is not quite as deadly as a regular Chaosium, or technical name Dinio, if you want to get the little reference there for you.
Oh, the little guys.
Oh, they put the feathers on them. They did it right.
And
what size are these little things?
They are an average of size 15, which translates to 75. So they're like big raptors. They're person size.
Cool.
Big raptors, yeah.
They're raptors, yeah. And this thing comes rushing towards you, and it is going to try and grab you with one of its legs.
Okay.
Okay.
So I do not have my shield and stuff drawn. That's going to come out at the end of the round, so I'm just going to try and dodge.
Okay, please make for me a dodge check.
Okay. Oh, good luck, Telos.
So dodge is dex times 2, which my dex is 18. 36 plus 15. Math. 51. I'm rolling under 51. Scramble backwards, trying to pull out my shield, immediately thrown off balance, and unhappy. Tells us a man who likes to have a plan and be the one laying the ambush. This sucks for him. Mm-hmm. I do succeed though. I rolled a 49. Just.
Okay. All right.
Let's hope
fantastic.
it didn't crit my ass.
Unfortunately, it didn't crit your ass, but it did roll. A 005.
Oh my
which
God.
is going to be a special success.
That's a good dinosaur.
It is a very, very good dinosaur. So, as I mentioned, this thing. Actually, wait a minute. I did reduce it. Let me double check.
No, hell yeah. Let's. I want to get rid of one of these arms, Jim. Tried to get rid of it last session. It's still feeling awfully attached.
I reduced its because it's a zombie. I reduced its skill with its foreclaw and a bunch of other stuff.
It's still definitely a special, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's still there. I just wanted to double check that. No, it would have had to roll real. It would have a real bad score for it not to be a special. So this is going to land on you. This is going to strike at your hit location 3, which I believe is going to be your left leg or some nonsense like that.
Hit location 3 is my right leg.
Your right leg. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the right leg.
And then this is going to deal to you.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Only 6 points of damage.
Okay, that is over the health of my leg. It's special damage, right? You rolled the special?
Yeah, I rolled the special. This is for the special value.
That brings my health in my right leg down to -1. So that was over the amount.
Yep, over the amount on your leg, coming right up. So, okay, your limb becomes useless. You fall to the ground. You are now prone, so you also can't get away from this thing.
There's also, so looking at slashing, I think I risk being incapacitated. It reads, if the hit points in a location are matched or surpassed by slashing damage, correct. The target may be incapacitated and must roll con minus any damage taken times 5.
Con minus any damage taken times 5. Okay, so your con, your base con, because it's not con times 5. What's your con score?
So it's 14 minus 6 times 5. So I'm rolling under 40.
Oh,
oh boy.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
14 minus 6 is 8.
Yep, I just that was a mass mistake from me.
Yep,
not a rule.
I try not to be incapacitated.
Do your best.
Clench my teeth. I fail.
Okay.
Sleepy time.
So you feel this your leg sort of gets completely speared as the talons lock into it. It is terrifyingly painful. More dangerously, this thing didn't do a ton of damage because it is using its foreclaw ability where it grabs you. So it seizes in and it holds on, pins you to the ground, and then it raises up its other claw where it is going to bring it down straight towards your face.
Yes.
We're going to go across to Iracha now. Dave, can I get you to just double check that you are indeed incapacitated, because my read was that you are just prone here. I'll get back to you on your turn.
This is for slashing damage, which is dealt when they get a special success, which is correct. So what that happens is it rolls twice, and you add together, waka waka waka. If the hit points in a location are matched or surpassed, correct. The target may be incapacitated. Must not roll, so the con match what we did. I have failed, so I am unconscious for 1d6 hours or until woken.
Oh my god.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yep. That sounds
And because I wear no armor.
Yep, that sounds pretty damn terrible.
Hell
okay. So with that in mind, you collapse backwards. Gone for the time being. Iracha, you reach up behind this thing, settle in, and lunge forward, desperately trying to attack it. It is not aware that you are there, which means it will not dodge. It will not try and hit back against you. You're just going to have to try and damage the shit out of it.
Okay, listen, fingers crossed. As Telos is going down, she's emerging through the marsh. I can't augment anymore because I did that this scene. She's going under a 75 and she rolled a 27.
Nice.
Okay, that's pretty damn good. So you dive forward, you lunge up towards this thing, and you ram your sword up into it. It screeches out in agony. Roll a hit location dice for me.
14.
14 is going to hit it in its foreclaw. It is its right foreclaw.
Hey, so
we're going to say
that's my foreclaw.
Slam down the limb that is holding on to your half brother. It has tough armor. Like I said, could you please roll your damage for me?
I sure can. So I just want to make sure if I'm looking at this right, this is 1d8 plus 1d4 plus 1.
That should be correct. That sounds correct to me.
Oh, come on, baby. Stay on the table. That's oh, God, that's really trash damage. That is going to be a total of 6.
Total of 6 damage. Okay. So you stab down into this thing and you immediately hit onto its armor, which is, thick, but it has been worn down slightly from the passage of years. When you strike into this thing, you were going to exactly bring the hit points on its leg to 0, and it's going to spin towards you angrily. Now, unfortunately, since this thing is zomboid in some capacity, it doesn't really seem to care that you've just stabbed it and wounded it pretty significantly.
Not super phased.
You stabbed it.
It's a soft Tuesday.
It's like, all right, man, whatever.
But you only did manage to get through with 3 points of damage, at which point it spins around, looks towards you, and is going to try and attack. We're going to go back up at the top of the round. You are unconscious, tell us. I'm very sorry to tell you. You're having a nap, or rolling around in agony and shock kind of thing as your leg is punctured.
Going, oh God, oh God. Get it off me.
Oh God, oh God.
Oh Yinkin, oh Yinkin.
Oh Yinkin,
I hate this fucking swamp. I was wrong. I don't want to fight dinosaurs.
I was wrong.
I do. Now it's going to be a revenge arc.
arrogance.
It's even better.
This raptor thing is going to try and grab you with its foreclaw. Or Iracha. Okay. You saw it try and do that. It's going to try and grab you with its good one.
Okay. And I just saw it do the same attack against my brother. So, oh God, help me, James. Can I fight back versus dodge? Is it kind of similar?
Absolutely. You can make a parry check.
Perfect.
So you can parry. That'll use your weapon skill, or you can try and dodge.
Nah, we'll go for blood on this one.
Go for blood?
Go for the parry.
Okay. It is going to try and make an attack against you. It rushes in and tries to grab you with its foreclaw. Okay.
Regular success. I'm 52 under 75.
Regular success. It hits a 95 this time. So from very, very good to very, very bad. 1/20th the chance of failure. Let me double check. Is that going to be a fumble? 1 second. No, that's not. So it leaps towards you and you manage to swing a successful parry into it, which means on a successful parry, let me just get the information here. A failed attack versus a successful parry. You roll normal damage. Attacking weapons HP is reduced by 1 HP. Okay, please roll for me your normal damage.
Beautiful. Another 6.
Another 6. Okay, fantastic. So this thing attacked you with its leg, which means that you just like slam down, hacking your sword directly into its leg. You don't get the full damage out here because this was only a parry, but it twists down slightly, and you do wound it a bit. I also just realized, so we now go directly across to you here.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, so she's going to just like snatch that sword out, do a spin behind the back, and she's going to put everything in her soul, this is all narrative, into just plunging down in this thing.
Okay, well, on that note, what's your hit strike rank?
She didn't have to move this time, so 7.
So 7. So if you wanted, you could. You'd have to prepare some spells. So never mind. You're going to strike down. In which case, all right. Please make for me a check, and this thing is going to do its best to parry at you.
Okay. This is a 36 under 75 still, so just a regular success again.
Fail on that. So attack versus a fail. Roll your damage.
All right, babe. We are looking at 12 points of damage on area 16.
Area 16. Well done. Area 16 is its other leg. 12 points of damage is going to get past the armor, and then it is going to reduce to 0 and then reduce to full negative. So you slice off this thing's leg, and it collapses completely to the ground. One leg is useless and broken. The other one is gone. When it hits the ground, the leg starts to kick, and this thing keeps moving. It starts to scramble around, but it's a raptor. It doesn't have good arms. It doesn't have a good capacity to move. It is struggling to get to anything within range. we're still in combat. Top of the next round, it is going to roll and try and bite anything that is near it. If your legs are near it, Iracha, it's going to get you. If Telos is still on the ground near it, it's going to get Telos. What would you like to do?
Oh, Telos is still unconscious. God bless it. Yeah, she's going to try to just put it down.
Okay, all right. In which case, you spin up with your sword. You are going to act first this time because we're going to treat this thing as being slowed for being on the bloody ground, scrambling around and unable to get all of its correct momentum together. So please make for me an attack.
She kind of has this satisfying gait as she's circling around to the front of it because she believes this is going to be it. We'll see how the dice actually feel about it. The killing blow. This is a 53 under 75, so regular success.
Nice, nice.
Nice.
Okay, regular success. It is going to, it'll try and parry. It's...
Poor baby.
Yeah, look, it rolled a fail anyway, and then there's additional rules for fighting while it's prone. There's no way. You were going to land the hit. Hit me with your damage.
Yeah, this would be 10 points on 17 if the location matters at this point.
Okay, 17 is it? Sorry, 10 points is its head. And you are going to spin around. And what was your exact value? Did you say 7 points of damage?
Sorry, 7, 8, 9, 10 points on location 17.
With that, you are going to overwhelm its complete hit points. You also completely overwhelm the hit points for its head specifically. So you spin around and skewer it straight through the brain.
Skewer it straight down. The legs go and drop.
Yank out the sword. The thing is dead. You catch your breath for a second. Telos has probably stopped screaming now, or have you? What do you do? Are you white? Are you just unconscious? What's Telos doing here?
I'm incapacitated for hours, so I think I'm pretty fucking out of it.
Yeah. You're just is it like a white face kind of just holding your leg?
I think it's blood loss. And the muddy water I've been bathing myself in for the last several hours probably doesn't help. So yeah, I think I'm unconscious.
Fantastic. You turn towards your brother and he is not in a good way. Looking back, you can still hear horses panicking and moving and running about. You don't know if there's more of these things out there, but you do not currently feel safe. What's your immediate plan, Iracha?
Well, she feels like an asshole right now because her brother is down because she chose not to sprint into action. She'll have to reconcile that later. So the first thing she's going to do is make sure, if his bow fell out, she knows that he's really emotional about that. So we're going to get that white bow out and slip it over her shoulders. And then she's just going to have to grab him and drag him into that camp.
Okay, you grab a hold of him, you grab his bow, you drag him as best as you can towards the camp. You did rip into it pretty unceremoniously, so it's a little underdone when you arrive in it and sort of settle through. But you are able to place Telos down and sort of look over him. You at this point could try and attempt to heal. You could at this point try and attempt some kind of first aid check. What is your goal here? What would you like to do?
So this is my spaghetti at the wall for you, and you just give me all of the coaching. Right now, it's going to be, I need him up as quickly as possible. So if that's magic, if that's this magic belt that she's wearing, whatever it is, it's going to be I need him mobile yesterday. This is a hostile, high-risk situation. I can't have him down right now.
Absolutely. So you do have a magic belt, and that has a heal matrix in it, I believe. Could you please give me the details of the belt? I just want to check if I believe it was a spirit magic heal, not a rune point heal.
I think it's a spirit.
Yes, sir. It just says magic belt with grinning dwarf buckle, 2-point matrix for heal.
Okay, fantastic. So that is going to allow you to cast heal 2 on Telos, which means that you are going to be able to restore some hit points towards his leg. So you bend down. And we'll start with that. You're going to evoke that. Tell us, when are you no longer incapacitated?
I'm not 100% sure. I presume bit of healing action will probably do it. I don't know. Bring me back up above the thing. I think, let me rewrite it.
Okay. In the meantime, can you please make for me a power check, Iracha? Oh,
I sure can. Power is 14, so I'm rolling under 14 times 5, correct?
That's correct, yes. So you
are No, you are fine.
This is for a D6. Sorry. Yeah.
No, go ahead, babe.
I am unconscious specifically for a D6 hours or until woken. So I imagine once, it's if I'm by myself, I'm really cooked. But otherwise, it's, when there's a bit of downtime, it's a get the hell up.
Yep. Exactly.
So this will probably wake me regardless.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you are going. So you bend down. You attempt to try and burn through some of your healing with your belt. Once again, you're not under pressure here, so you can make multiple attempts to try and get this heal full.
Oh, thank God.
But this is going to because you were using sort of a. As you know, it's a matrix. It's not actually stored energy. Never mind. Go right ahead. Make for me an additional power check because we just need to make sure if you basically.
Ooh, thank God, because she failed that first one. All right, the second one, she's much more focused now. She feels much better. 68 under 70.
Okay, fantastic. That's fine. You can restore 2 hit points to Telos's leg. So you were at -1, did you say? And you're brought back to 1? Okay, so you're brought back to 1, and then you can awake him. I need to double check a couple of rules very quickly. I would encourage you are resting for a second inside the camp to make your immediate plans and decide what you are going to do next.
So Telos is back up, right? While you're...
Gradual. I mean, do you have a method of waking him up?
I mean, I feel like the smoothest thing right now is I need you up now, so it's going to be a nice, beautiful backhand across the face.
Did we get it?
Yeah, we got it.
Ah, I think it got my leg.
Yeah, I think you're right. And there's this thing, like she's talking to you, but she can't make eye contact with you. Her eyes are just like nose and below, nose and below.
If another one of those comes, I'm not exactly in perfect condition. Could you heal it some more? I can do it myself, but it'll be much slower. How many?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
We need you mobile as quickly as possible.
Okay, so you can blast a bunch of spirit magic points into this.
If it's healed 2 more of those should do it. I'm down 4.
Okay.
I don't know how much. I don't know how much your belt stores.
I believe that it's I'll confirm that. At this then it can in the meantime can you please make some power checks for me, Erasure, and what I want to confirm is you just need to make sure if you crit or fumble because that's the only circumstance in which you won't lose the standard speed of magic points for this.
Okay, a 4 under 70 on that second power check, so apologetic
Nice.
Irate might get the job done.
Okay. 4 under 70, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's going to cost you no magic points for that second one, and can you make a third one?
Okay. And under 70 is 39 under 70, 39.
39 under 70? Okay, that one will fire through normally. So can you reduce, please, your spirit magic by 4? Oh, so your magic points by 4, sorry.
Magic.
And then I'm going to have to confirm exactly how that relates to your matrix, whether you can draw anything from that at all. We can get that in between sessions, and we'll continue.
That'll work.
I just looked it up. So I think it's a 2-point spell matrix.
I think it. Yeah, I think
so I believe that means it can only be cast once.
Oh,
no,
I think
it's a matrix. It just saves the int on the memorize cast as long as you have magic points. Ew. Okay, that's good. That's actually how I was doing it last time. So that makes sense because my bows got multi-missile, and I was just pouring those out. I think.
Oh, that's right.
It's matrix. It just saves.
So perfect. Thank you very much, Oki Stefan. We appreciate you.
Awesome. So that's like we just know those ones. Oh, that rules. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so you can be healed up. You are going to need to reduce your magic points by 4 total for the 2 castings that were successful. The one that was a crit is not going to cost you anything.
Okay.
And then your leg is going to be bathed in healing magic. Do you want to give us any flavor for that, Iracha? Is there a particular look for it?
This is a very cold, very quiet healing. She is responding to questions if asked. She cannot directly make eye contact with Telos, but this is just going to be silent prayers. It almost looks like I forget what those devices are, but like the ones that shock your heart. It's kind of like with like 2 hands down, and then there's that. Yeah. And she'll come up, rinse her hands, and then she'll do that again. Can Is there a psychology adjacent or equivalent roll that I can roll to see if he knows that she didn't run in to save him immediately?
That would be an insight check.
Okay. Insight own species. All right, under a 54. A 94.
No idea.
I hate David's face right now.
I'm just pissed I didn't lose the leg. I'm racing for it. I want one of these limbs gone ASAP.
See which happens first.
This was the best place to do it because I know I'm coming back as a zombie guy if I die here. So I'm gonna play fast and loose.
Okay. So speaking of which, now you've been in here for a little bit. The healing takes time, and you do start to hear out deeper in the swamps the occasional loud chitter, the same kind of noise that you had detected when you were further back. You ran quickly. You didn't go and check that last zombie for any, real information. You were too busy dragging Telos away. It occurs to you that for all you know, it might be, reforming or something.
Oh, God.
So you also have the information of the track, the two sets of footprints that appeared to vanish off down into the upland marsh. You have the sign that leads you up towards Swordvale, and last of all, you could always double back and see if you could find the source of all those horses and figure out what that was about. At this stage, the decision is over to you, and I'll leave you to make that choice. We'll set up what direction you are going in for the next session and wrap things up there.
If there are people in this swamp fleeing and there's a chance we can help, I think we should follow the trail of those that left this camp. We saw what just one of those things did when caught unawares. They could be in danger. Although they left like a couple days ago, right, Jim?
Yeah, within a couple 2 days, you would guess. They're
probably dead.
The track check.
But,
They're probably dead, yeah. They left in a hurry too, right?
it might be worth following regardless. The horses survived. There's a chance. I would say we follow that trail.
I'll go see to our friend outside, and she's getting ready to head out, and she's going to stop. Like, this thought just hit her. It's been bothering Bridget for a while, but a thought just hit her. She's going to turn around and look at Telos. Why would that centaur bang its face in?
I don't know. I don't know what could have caused any of this. That's why we're here, looking for the Humacht. We have more questions than answers at the moment. We need to find them as soon as possible and find out what's happening. Clearly this is not just our village that has been infected.
And like her mind is like, percolating and simmering. Like, is there an area of madness that's going on? What would cause a creature to do that to himself? Was it infected and it knew it? Like, she's going through those possibilities in her head, and she's going to go and make sure their little buddy is declawed and is actually down.
So when you get over to it and you check it out, the worst answer is that it's kind of half-half. It's still where you left it, and it's not moving or undertaking any sort of major things. It's not struggling, but you occasionally see twitches through it. It doesn't appear to be dead in the way that you would hope or expect. You were pretty sure that given enough time, it might manage to wriggle its way into some kind of future movement. At this stage, you're not entirely sure how you kill these things dead. You stabbed it through the head, and that definitely got it to kind of stop kicking. But it's still alive.
So if she can, just really quick, can I just decapitate it and pull the claws out? Because she wants to keep those anyways.
Sure. 1, 2.
One silent chop.
Yank up the claws.
Tear.
You do have to do a little bit of like the whacking along the bottom of the claw, because even just with a little bit of skin and like muscle attached, that stuff twitches. It's real unpleasant. You're probably going to boil these.
Yeah. Next time we rest. Those will make a nice little like necklace for her.
Yeah,
okay. Returning back, Telos, you'll have hauled yourself to your feet.
I test the leg. Feels good.
I leave it over to you here. Do you want to sort of like stylistically, are you like limping, or mechanically I think you are healed now?
Mechanically I'm healed. I think scars develop each time, so where it heals over, I like the idea of getting a little mottled nonsense. And I think there's a testing just to find it, but I think I find the strength is returned, and especially given we're horseless and on foot, I'm gonna need that leg for now.
For now.
And I think we'll make ready to follow the trail of whoever else is lost in this swamp with us.
Okay. In which case, you turn back and you head down. You grab your own supplies and you start to stride deeper into the swamp. We're going to leave it there, but first of all, you're going to find just one last thing. As you reach the edge of what you are pretty sure must be the true upland marsh, this is where the loose kind of broken up road that you were traveling down ends. You can see a can of some sort that has been set up, or like a large pile of dirt that has all been put together. Right at the top, there is a dead flower, unlike any that you have ever seen, that is like shriveled up and sickly, but it is right at the top of this can, which has been placed almost kind of reverentially. And you swear you could see what looks like almost veins of rot, faded now, but as if they have all come out from that and they have then diffused into the surrounding area. You would not be surprised if this is some kind of source of rot or putrefaction. Would you like to take the flower or destroy the can?
We don't understand this. We need to study it before we do anything else. I would want to try and get like a fuck.
You can make a elder race lore check once again.
I mean, my kind of vibe is like things suck here at the moment, so we're going to make it worse. Imagine this is the only thing holding back the tide of undead. Well, that might be the case. Now that I say it out loud, it doesn't sound so crazy. I shouldn't have said anything. Knowledge.
I got a 5 on Elder Lore. Anything else, GM?
If you had Cult's Lore Humakt, that'd be fantastic, but unfortunately, you do not. That is exactly the reason that why you have ventured out here to try and find information.
How far out do we think we might be from where the actual village should be?
Swordvale, half a day's travel.
Okay, still a little ways away. So, like, I'm thinking, like, if we leave this, it'll be a bit of a hoof to come back to it. We probably need to make a decision.
It's a commitment. It's one way or the other.
Can we identify this marker somehow?
Suggestion from chat, which I do like very quickly. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Aracha. Death Rune, I would also be happy with. If you would like
for vibes.
Rune to get information.
I've got alright, Death Rune. My Telos' instinct would be don't act unless you understand it. So I'm going to lean towards leaving it.
Oh no, what the hell? We'll go for it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right.
See what happens.
Can I get you both to roll against your Death Rune then?
28 under 50 here.
Okay, 20 under 50, so that is a success.
I think yeah. I will try. No, fail.
Fail. Okay. You stand before a Telos, and your caution takes over. You don't want anything to do with this right now. Aratia, as you are standing before it, you're trying to focus in on it, and you try to still your mind a little bit. You focus on your Death Rune. All of a sudden, you get quite a visceral response.
Uh-oh.
All of this horrible, yucky fog, thickness, awfulness, it kind of just mutes. There's a whole layer of numbness that just kind of comes over you for just a second. And you feel a strange sense of calm. You also feel a strange sense of reverence, the same kind of reverence that you have gotten when you have been inside temples, when you have been committed in prayer to your god. At this stage, I want to ask you two things. Can you give me the exact value of your Death Rune, and can you give me the exact value of your Sword Rune?
You what?
Yeah, death
sword
rune.
sword skill.
Yeah, death is 50. Broadsword is 75.
Broadsword is 75. Okay. As you start to kind of feel this numbness come over you, you almost feel the edges of a vision flashing through your mind. You find yourself unconsciously gripping your sword. You feel yourself running through the woods, through the upland marsh, sprinting away, and you are fleeing, but you are also chasing. You feel confused, but also righteous. You start to get flashes of images, faces, and suddenly a location becomes burned into your head, somewhere deeper inside the marsh. What is in front of you, this cairn, is unholy. It is disgusting. It has corrupted and pushed the marsh further than its boundaries, and it must be destroyed, but it must be destroyed before it is too late. And unfortunately, this thing has already achieved its goal. As this knowledge comes over you, I would like to you feel yourself drawn in. The gods and magic are present in RuneQuest. You feel yourself drawn in to an offering, to a connection. I would like to offer you, and at this stage it will be temporary, but it is something that you could push further with. You can feel contact from Humat, the god of death here, operating, trying to stop this perversion of the undead. I will bestow upon you one of Humak's gifts in return for you following one of his deises, that is a bind upon him. So like if you accept a responsibility, you will also get a small boon. It's a flavor thing at this stage, but it can have pretty good mechanical
Is Humak
implications.
buddy with your god? Who
With
who
Ronaldo?
you follow? But you're actually an initiative. The Storm.
Orlanth.
Oh, that's
right?
her mother was Ornado. Sorry, it's Orlanth. Yeah, that's right.
How do
Yeah.
old Orlanth and Humak go, Jimbo?
So,
They buddies?
yes, effectively. So Humak is one of the Lightbringers. He is connected with everybody. He's also kind of connected with no one. He sticks on the outside a little bit. There are ties, but Humak stands apart as part of his responsibility. What you would be is, it's more your gods are friendly with Humak because Humak performs a very important service, and by definition, Humak can be friendly with nobody.
Okay, got it. What I'm gonna do is
this would not be a blasphemous act on your part.
Yeah, this isn't like finding the got screwed up shit. Yeah.
fair. Okay. I'm going to be true to that whole random rolling thing that she does, where she just kind of instinctively goes with the gut check. So I'm just going to roll a D10. Even, she's in. Odd, she's going to decline politely.
No, thank you. I'm good.
That is a 9. She is resisting.
Okay.
All right. You pull back and you feel no regrets. You feel no sadness or anger on the other side. Just this vague numbness that fades away, and suddenly you are back amongst all of the smells and the sights and the wonderful marsh that you were in. But amongst the visions that are jarbled in your head, you do feel this one association with a place, and suddenly you know that there is somewhere deeper inside these marshes that you need to find. And we will leave the session just there. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Dave. That was absolutely fantastic. And it's great to be back and playing with the two of you. We will be back for another session of the game next week. We look forward to seeing you all there. But in the meantime, there are all kinds of exciting things happening. Remember to keep an eye on Chaosium's social channels, where we will be talking about the upcoming Regency book, one exciting thing. And of course, we also have the Stream of Chaos, which will be coming back for more Call of Cthulhu action very soon. Dave, I'm going to throw towards you. You want to say a quick goodbye?
Yeah, bye. That was awesome. Thanks, Jim. Looking forward to the next one. I really hope I kill a dinosaur rather than getting killed by a dinosaur. That's my goal.
Always a good plan. Yeah. And Bridget.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I am super excited to be back in Glorantha. I have been looking forward to this. So again, thank you for brilliant storytelling. And RQ staff, and I'm just shouting you out because literally you're like the best part of waking up on all Chaosium channels. You are loved. Thank you.
Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. You can catch up with this video on YouTube shortly, and we'll see you next week.
Boy.
Mwah.